Hello. So what is anxiety? Well, anxiety, it's in itself is not good, it's not bad, it's just an emotion. Just like happiness, anger, sadness. It's a built-in thing that we all have. And that's very useful despite what everybody else is saying. Oh my God, I've got anxiety. Well, yes, we all do. And it's your internal alarm system which basically is telling you, well, there's something around you that's not right. There's a threat going on. Do something about it. So it's very useful. It's there to keep you safe. And what anxiety does, it will trigger, after a while, what is called the fight or flight response, which actually is a freeze fight or flight response. Some people will also add fawn response to it, but I'm not going to go into it today. And basically, it's because under threat, if you're under attack, let's say you're being attacked by a bear or whatever, or being mugged by someone, which is more likely around here, unless you work in a zoo, you have three options. You play dead, you run like hell, or you fight like hell. That's the only three options you really have. So if you have anxiety building up, it's pushing you more and more toward, okay, pick one of those options. It's really building up toward choosing one of those choices and doing it fast. And it's, again, it's a built-in system, it's very ancient, and we share it with all the animals in the animal kingdoms, from lizards to horses to birds, whatever. And again, that's an alarm system that when it gets triggered and when you're generally under threat, prepares you to do something. The time for talking and trying to talk your way out is over, and you have to actually act now. So what's happening is you get all of those physical symptoms kicking in. You've got those pins and needles going on because all the blood in your body gets redirected toward all the major muscle groups, so you can run like hell or fight like hell. And so yeah, because away from all your skin, you start to turn white, maybe as well. You got pins and needles tingling. You will have as well this feeling of being nauseated or butterfly in the stomach, because digesting right now is not important. You're under threat. So you may feel the need to go to the loo, or you might feel a bit sick. That's a normal reaction in that way. You're gonna have your heart rate going way faster already, just to get more blood everywhere, more oxygen everywhere. You're also gonna have shallow, fast breathing as well, kicking in big time. As well, you're gonna have your immune system partially shutting down as well, because when you're under threat, when you're under attack, fighting germs, yeah, that can wait a little bit. You need to make sure you're alive before you worry about germs. So that's all those things going on there. You get that adrenaline kicking in. You start to shake as well. You may start to feel a bit wobbly. Actually, you're gonna be Actually, you're gonna be running. Sorry, much faster than you think. And that feeling you get, a feeling of jelly legs or whatever, is it's a weird feeling, but trust me, your body is being boosted to really be a peak performance as much as it can. And the other thing as well is when you get super anxious, you're going to have issues with your cognitive functions. You won't be able to think straight anymore, because if you're under threat, again, now is not the time to think. Is that bear friendly? Is it hungry? Is it a brown bear? Is it a black bear? Oh, I'm dead before I've finished debating what to do. Do something fast. You're under threat. You're in red alert. No time to faff about and think too much. So all those cognitive functions shuts down. You got tunnel vision and everything. So that's why if you're anxious, you're sometimes going to be reading that email or trying to read a newspaper or a Facebook post or whatever 3, 4, 5 times. It just doesn't get in. You're not gone stupid. You're just anxious. You got a brain fog kicking in. So if anxiety is normal, if it's useful, as I just said, when is it a problem? Well, there's a couple of things we've got to understand here. Is that bear response, bear attack response I mentioned, we also using it to respond to non-physical threats and also to remind us of important things. So basically, we're going to have the same response if we have a deadline, if you have a job interview, a first date, a competition or project to finish or anything like that. And that's going to kick in. If you've got a performance as well, I think stage fright, that's what it is. So all of those things which are not physically dangerous still trigger the same response as well. So it becomes a problem when we've got too much of it or too often, because anxiety is supposed to be a spiked response. You get on with your life, blah, 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 happy, happy, happy. Oh my God, I'm under pressure, I'm under threat, I need to react and do something about it. Then you deal with it, come back to live your life happily ever after, hopefully. And that's where it should be. But as human, we tend to have too many issues with anxiety. So one of them is that our alarm system becomes far too sensitive. Imagine, for example, you've got a fire alarm in your kitchen. If you don't have one, you should. And of course, if you burn your roast, yes, fair dues, it will trigger. It's annoying, but that's what it should be doing. But if you've got anxiety issues, what might happen is it's going to be like being in your living room, thinking about making a toast, and your alarm system just gets triggered. That's too much. You don't want that. But for some people, that's what it feels like. And it will trigger out of nowhere, basically, or seemingly out of nowhere. And it's not their fault, because quite often it's due to trauma. It could be because they're under threat, so maybe something can be actually genuine. It could be also due to if you're neurodivergent as well, all that mental friction having to deal with society in everyday life. That can also contribute to that. But basically, yes, many, many, many reasons. I'm not going to cite them all because I will miss some anyway. But you end up with a far too sensitive alarm system. The other one is, for some people, is they end up in a chronic state of anxiety. Basically, they're stuck in it. They just cannot climb down from red alert. There's so many things, and basically they stay in that continuous state of alert, and they're continuously in that state of freeze, fight, or flight. But the problem with that is, as it's supposed to be a spiked response, should be last a few minutes, few hours, maybe a few days even. But if it goes for a week, few weeks, few months, few years for some people, it starts to damage your body, because you got all the stress hormones kicking in. It's really affecting your body in many ways, increase inflammation in your body. As I said before, your immune system shuts down, you can't adjust properly, you can't think straight, you got a lot of tension. It's really bad in so many ways. So it's not a good thing to have it all the time. The better safe than sorry in that case does not apply. So considering all of that, the next question will be, is it common to have anxiety disorders? Unfortunately, yes. It is quite common. And I've got some figures here. And in a survey in Great Britain, 1 in 6 adults had experienced some form of neurotic health problems in the previous week. That's a lot. Now, the most common neurotic disorder that were experienced in that survey were anxiety and depressive disorders. And also, more than 1 in 10 people are likely to have a disabling anxiety disorder at some stage in their lives. That's a lot. And also, an estimated 13% of the population will develop a specific form of anxiety known as a phobia at some point in their lives. So basically, all of that shows that anxiety comes in many different forms, different symptoms, different ways of feeling it, experiencing it. And it could be, again, a different type of phobias. It could be generalized anxiety disorder, when you got that overwhelming sense of doom and dread all the time. It could be health anxiety, it could be OCD, it could be hoarding as well. It could be symptoms of PTSD, social anxiety, blah, blah, blah. There's so many there. I can't even name them all. I'll be there all night. And there's so many, many different symptoms. Now, is it treatable? Well, the thing is, you don't cure anxiety. You don't even get rid of it either, because, again, it's a natural, useful internal alarm system that we all have. And what we want to do, we want to bring it back to the right level, bring it back under control, reset it, basically. Just like if you got a burglar alarm that triggers all the time, annoying all the neighbors all the time, you don't just take the batteries out. What you do, you just call the engineer, comes around, fix it, reset it, so it does its job properly. So it just stays silent most of the time and everything is fine. But if something happens, it triggers and you're safe. That's how it should be. Same thing with anxiety. You reset the alarm, you bring it back under control, so it does its job properly, so you can move on with your life. Now, how do you do that? Well, there's many ways to do this. Obviously, the best thing is prevention, looking after yourself, taking care of your physical health, mental health, all the self-care thing, learning how to genuinely rest, and just sometimes being able to take a step back when you feel overwhelmed, or even better, before you get overwhelmed. Learning to recognize your triggers, trying to find ways to diffuse them as well, or learning to find a way to deal with them in a healthier fashion. There's a lot of different things you can do. But for many, it's gone beyond that. And when you have developed an anxiety disorder, you need to get help. The first thing you must do is talk to someone, basically. Bottling up, keeping it under your belt, repressing it is the worst thing you can do, because it will pop back up with a vengeance. I know, I've done that, I've tried strategy, and it backfired in a spectacular way in the shape of a nervous breakdown. Trust me, you don't want that. So talk to someone, because you might then realize that other people are feeling the same thing as you do. Other people will sympathize with you and be willing to help you and support you. Just sharing it so they may be aware of what's going on, and maybe they don't realize they're putting pressure on you, for example. So talk to someone. Also, you might realize you're not alone, which is already kind of reassuring in a way. You're not gone crazy. You're under pressure. So talk to someone, talk to a doctor, talk to a therapist, but seek help. It is available. I know in some places it's difficult to get help like on the NHS in the UK. It's a bit tricky, but there is help available. Many people, like myself, are there willing and to support you and help you, so you can live the life you so richly deserve. So any kind of therapy is better than no therapy. Of course, I'm biased, and I will say that hypnotherapy is a great tool to help people get unstuck from that anxiety state fast. So why is that? Well, I might oversimplify a bit, but anxiety, it's using your imagination toward negative things, all those bad what-if scenarios, scary scenarios. It's an internal alarm system that is also subconscious. It's a subconscious process that runs in the background. You don't consciously choose to be anxious, do you? Of course not. So with hypnotherapy, we can address those issues at the source, help you clear out and process any kind of negative baggage or beliefs, and help you use a fantastic imagination by pointing it toward positive stuff and opportunity for a change. Because you spend all of your time looking down and feeling bad. What will happen if you look up? Who knows? I do. So there's a bit more to it than that, but for the point I'm trying to make right now, that will do. So whether it's generalized anxiety, whether it's social anxiety, phobia, PTSD, whatever, feel free to contact me, of course. I can work with anyone, anywhere in the world, thanks to the wonders of the internet and Zoom. Or we can see each other face to face if you're down here in the southeast of England, or if you're willing to travel. Hey, why not? But whether it's with me, whether it's a colleague, whether it's a doctor, a friend, or one of the many helplines available, do not suffer in silence. Talk to someone. No matter how bad it seems, it can get better. I know, I've been there. Okay. And often all you need is a bit of help. And I had help, and I moved on, and I'm now ready and willing to help others. And if I can do it, anyone can. So please, please, please get some help, talk to someone. It will get better. Thank you for watching.